Okay, now that we've got both cones glued to the surrounds, we will let that sit for at least, I'm going to do it for about 24 hours. And then after that, then I will remove the wads from underneath the speakers and allow the cone to go back into the position. It'll get lower, and then what I'll do is take and glue all in here around the outside of the surround, all around here. And then when I get that done, I'll let that set. Then I will put the gaskets that go right here, and I will glue those in as well. That'll be later though. Okay, now that we've allowed time for the inner cone and the inner part of the surround to cure, what we're going to do next is we're going to apply the glue to the outside edge of the speaker itself right here, and then into the inner part of the outer edge of the surround. And then what we're going to do is we'll remove all this wadding from the speaker cone and allow it to fall and into place, and then we'll glue and make sure that we have this stuff glued together real good, and then we'll give it time to cure as well. I usually let it go ahead and go a full day before I try to do anything else. I decided to go ahead and install the outer hard gasket around the speaker surrounds, and since I had these nice clips, I decided to go ahead and use those to keep the gasket and also the rubber surrounds having good contact. So I think I'll leave that for 24 hours and then do the other speaker just like this one. I would also like to point out that whenever I put the outer hard gasket on the outside of the surround, I made sure that I lined up the gasket with the holes for the screws. And later on what I'll do is I will cut right around this hole. I'll cut the gasket away and have places for the screws to go in. One crucial bit of information that I want to give you is when you do install these surrounds, you've got to make sure that your speaker cone, the center, is perfectly centered so that whenever you move it up and down, when you push on it, there is no scratching or any sound at all. It's got to be totally silent. If there is any type of rubbing, you'll have to center it and adjust the surround so that it's perfectly centered. And there you can test it by pushing on the cone itself, and if you'll see, watch the sides, and they will go along and allow the cone to move freely. So make sure that that cone is centered perfectly. Okay, the next thing we'll do before we install the speakers, once the surrounds have been replaced, we have a very small thin gasket that goes behind the speaker so that it won't make any vibration noises or anything like that. So I'm going to put that in place and make sure that the screw holes line up on the top and the bottom. And I think I'll glue it down with a little bit of that glue just to keep it in place before I put the speaker back in there. And before I do that, I will make sure that I put the red lead. Let's see if you can see that. There it is. Okay. I'm going to put the red lead on the speaker in the back or on the bottom where it has the red dot. Let's see, there it is. Okay. That red dot shows where the positive lead will go. So the red wire goes there, and the other wire goes to the other lead. Okay, once I put the wires onto the speaker, then I'll install the speaker itself, and I'll put the 4 screws in, and it'll be all done. Okay, as you can see, I've already finished with my project. I've got all the speakers put back into the case. All I've got to do now is put the speaker covers on, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Okay, now I'm ready to jam. Okay, now's the moment of truth. I've got my speakers all set up, and I've got the wires all connected. So what I'm going to do is run a sound test and see what it sounds like. Well, sounds great.